Evaluating expressions at a given value is a very important mathematical concept that you will use throughout the rest of your math classes. Evaluating expressions involves simply plugging in the given value for the variable and simplifying. Check out how we do this in different scenarios below. Okay, so the first scenario is polynomials. Let's look at example 1. It says evaluate the following when x equals 5. Like I said, we're going to plug in 5 wherever we see x, which is in 2 locations actually. Now, whenever you plug in, I would highly encourage you to use parentheses. So it looks like this, parentheses, instead of writing x, I'm going to write 5 squared plus 4 parentheses 5 plus 9. This is our order of operations that we just learned. So I'm going to do 5 squared, that's going to give me 25, plus 4 parentheses 5 plus 9. Next I'm going to do my multiplication, which is 4 times 5. 25 plus 20 plus 9. And now I'm going to add from left to right. 25 plus 20 is 45 plus 9. And 45 plus 9 gives me 54. Let's look at example 2. Evaluate the following when x equals negative 2. So I'm going to put negative 2 in place of x. Remember to use those parentheses. We're going to do 5 parentheses negative 2 squared minus 9 parentheses negative 2 plus 11. We have to do our exponents first. That is the negative 2 to the second power. So we get 5 parentheses negative 2 squared gives me positive 4 minus 9 times negative 2 plus 11. I'm going to kind of multiply both of these at the same time. We have a 5 times 4, which gives me 20. And we have negative 9 times negative 2, which is going to give me a positive 18. And then we have a positive 11. And now we're just going to take 20 plus 18 plus 11. 20 plus 18 gives me 38. Plus 11 gives me 49. Rational expressions, which means that they involve a fraction. Example 1, we have an x value that we have to plug in and a y value. So wherever I see the x value, I'm going to plug in my x, and wherever I see my y, I'm going to plug in my y. So instead of writing x, I'm going to write 7 divided by 7 plus 2 times y, which is 2, plus 11. Order of operations, I'm going to do 7 divided by 7 first, which is 1 plus 2 times 2 plus 11. Next, I'm going to do my 2 times 2, which is 4. So we have 1 plus 4 plus 11. 1 plus 4 is 5 plus 11 equals 16. Example 2 says evaluate the expression when a is 10. So I'm going to write 10 minus 5 over 25 minus 10. We're going to simplify the top and bottom. 10 minus 5 gives me 5. 25 minus 10 gives me 15. 5 divided by 15, we can simplify that fraction. We can divide both these by 5, and that's going to give us 1/3. Okay, radical expressions. Radical expressions contain square roots. So example 1, we're going to plug in these values. So I'm going to have square root 6 times 4 minus 1 plus 2. Use those parentheses, plus 6. So all I did was plug in these values, where they go, what we've been doing. Now order of operations, I'm going to do the multiplication all in one step. 6 times 4 is 24, minus 1 plus 2 times 10 is 20, plus 6. Now we're just going to add from left to right. When we add all these together, we get 49. And then finally, we want to take the square root of 49, which gives us 7. Same idea for example 2. There's one thing that's tricky about this one. Okay, so A is 10. I'm going to put 10 in place of A. Now notice there's a minus right here, so I'm going to put a minus. And B is actually a negative 6. So you have to write it this way, you guys. The reason why is because when we have two negatives like this right next to each other, it turns to a positive. So this turns to 10 plus 6. Oh, that makes a little kind of smiley face. 10 plus 6 gives us 16. Square root of 16 is 4. Last situation is absolute value. Absolute value basically means that whatever number is in the absolute value, it turns to a positive when it is taken outside of the absolute value bars. Okay, so absolute value can never be negative. Example 1, evaluate the expression when x equals negative 1 and y is 9. So we're going to say 3, absolute value, negative 1 minus 9 minus 8. We're going to simplify what's in the absolute value bars first. That gives us negative 10 minus 8. Now, this 3 is still going to hang out here. When we take the absolute value of negative 10, it's just positive 10. So this turns to a positive 10, like so, minus 8. Now we do our 3 times 10, which is 30, minus 8 equals 22. Last problem, you guys are doing great. So B is 7, so I'm going to write 7 plus A is 3, 3. Absolute value bars, we have negative 4 minus 10 plus A, so plus 3. Again, simplify those absolute value bars. That turns into negative 14. Again, the absolute value of negative 14, that gives us a positive 14. So I'm just going to change it like so. Fill in the numbers around it. And then we want to do multiplication first. 3 times 14, which gives us 42. We add all those values together and we get 52.